again, this is Mr. Sanders here, and I'm going to present to you my top 23 matches of 2012. Now, this is kind of a strange number, but I was really just like, in order to keep up with matches, I thought, oh, is this better than this one of this year? I kind of just listed them off and then just said, oh yeah, I thought this was better than this one better than this one. And then once I got to... I finished up the list. I rewatched the top 13 and then reorganized the top 13 in that respect. So it could be that anything below the top 13 may be better than I expect, maybe better than I remember, I should say. But yeah, these are kind of my choices for what I think are the top 23 matches of the year. So number 23. Kurt Angle versus AJ Styles at TNA Sacrifice. Number 22, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar in Extreme Rules match at Extreme Rules. Number 21, Jeff Hardy versus Austin Aries in a ladder match for the TNA Heavyweight Championship at TNA Turning Point. Number 20, The Rock versus John Cena at WrestleMania 26. Number 19, Davey Richards versus Jay Lethal at Ring of Honor Glory by Honor 11. Number 18, Cowboy James Storm versus AJ Styles versus Bobby Roode for the number 1 contendership for the TNA Heavyweight Championship at TNA Turning Point. Well, the contendership was going to be for Final Resolution. But whatever. Number 17, Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler with Vicky Guerrero for the World Heavyweight Championship at WWE No Way Out 2012. Number 16, Jeff Hardy versus Kurt Angle at TNA Lockdown. Number 15, Kevin Steen versus Michael Elgin at ROH Glory by Honor 11. Number 14, CM Punk versus Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 26. Number 13, Chris Jericho versus CM Punk in a Chicago street fight at WWE Extreme Rules 2012. Number 12, Jeff Hardy versus Mr. Anderson versus Rob Van Dam at TNA Slammiversary 2012. Number 11, Austin Aries versus Bully Ray at TNA Sacrifice. So now we've made it up to the top 10, so now we'll actually start discussing things. Number 10, Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus in a 2 out of 3 falls match at Extreme Rules. Yeah, coming off the heels of the 18-second victory at WrestleMania, I didn't exactly have high expectations for this match, but when I watched it, it was a pretty well-worked match. I thought that Daniel Bryan and Sheamus had pretty good chemistry in the ring together, and I did like that they were kind of matching each other's, that there was such a display of a contrast between the styles of these two. Daniel Bryan being a grappling specialist and Sheamus basically being a powerhouse. And they did a pretty good job in trying to make Daniel Bryan the unlikable guy that it's gratifying to see Sheamus plow through. Number 9, Christopher Daniels and Kazarian versus AJ Styles and Kurt Angle versus Chavo Guerrero and Hernandez at TNA Bound for Glory 2012. A bit sloppy, but this was a pretty good fast-paced match that that led to some pretty memorable botches, but also some pretty striking spots. It was actually a really fun match to watch, even though I thought the first couple of minutes were a little slow, but by the end, it got pretty exhilarating. Number 8, Austin Aries versus Bobby Roode at TNA Destination X. This is the match that pretty much cemented Austin Aries' just rise to prominence. Over the years, over this last year, he's gone from being the TNA X Division champion to being one of the most entertaining guys in the company, to the point where even though he was a heel, he started getting cheered, and then they eventually just turned him face. And once they did that, it just started, the ball just started rolling. They kind of did add that little bit of, that confidence, that proper type of confidence in Austin Aries when he gave up his X Division title to be in this match. And this was a pretty well worked match. It was a bit slow at times, but you know what? It was pretty damn entertaining. Number 7, AJ Styles and Kurt Angle versus Kazarian and Christopher Daniels at TNA Slammiversary. Another very well-worked match between 4 great wrestlers, and yeah, in one of TNA's best shows of the year. It's not really much to say about that, but still, it was a fun time, most certainly. Next match, number 6, AJ Styles versus Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe versus Christopher Daniels in a ladder match in the BFG series at Hardcore Justice 2012. Yeah, this, again, was a really, really fun match. I loved just the unique things that all four of these guys could do. The moves that Kurt Angle took were pretty brutal. AJ Styles and Daniels took brutal moves. And once again, this was a nice contrast of styles between all of these guys. The high flyer, the technician, the fat ass who could hit like a brick, and the cowardly super heel in Christopher Daniels. Honestly, Christopher Daniels, I think, when he's away from AJ Styles, is really, really funny. Anyway, that's my number 6. Number 5, Davey Richards versus Michael Elgin in the ROH Showdown in the Sun Day 2. The match that got a 5-star rating out of David Meltzer. This was a pretty sick match. I loved just the kind of feel of the monster they created in Michael Elgin. The feeling that he could just take anything and keep coming back. It got to the point where you just started to root for the guy, because it's like, damn, how much is he going to take? How much is he going to have to absorb? Just because he won't give up and will not die. And wanted the Davey Richards title. It's actually a pretty spectacular match, and I think it was probably Ring of Honor's best match of the year. Number 4, people may kill me for putting this guy on this list so high, but John Cena versus CM Punk at WWE Night of Champions 2012. I'm surprised this match isn't getting as good of opinions as I've seen. This is a match where John Cena kind of redeems some of the qualms people have with him. He actually speeds up a lot of his matches. He speeds up a lot of his attacks. He does new moves. He does some different stuff. The psychology here is very different. CM Punk has to pull out stuff. It's really interesting to see just the norms that these guys have been in, and then see them try to get around that as part of the psychology of the match. It really does work well behind the idea that CM Punk and John Cena have fought each other to the point where they know each other very, very well. And this match was really cool because of it. Number 3, this is probably going to be number 1 for a lot of people. Undertaker versus Triple H in a Hell in a Cell with Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee at WrestleMania 26. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have heard the opinions of a ton of people about this match, you know. It's pretty much a character-driven story in a wrestling match, in kind of the more purest form I've ever seen of that. And I don't mean purest form of wrestling, I mean purest form of, like, theater. Like, that's what I would most describe it as. It feels like a theater play with where everyone's doing their own stunts. And it actually is pretty interesting. Like, the psychology of this match was really good, and the storytelling of this match was really good. The only thing I didn't like was the slow pace at times. But still, really damn good match. Number 2. Some people may say I am, like, taking this a little too strongly, because this match happened very, very recently, but damn it, this match was awesome! The Shield of Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins versus Team Hell No and Ryback at TLC 2012. Oh my god, this was awesome. It was a chaotic match. It was a mess in the fact that you didn't quite know what was happening, but you knew when somebody had the advantage and somebody didn't. The psychology of how the Shield worked versus the way that versus the disorganization of Ryback and Team Hell No actually really worked well as a storytelling as a way of storytelling. The moves they would pull out were just really surprising. I'm surprised to see Dean Ambrose in an outfit that he was wearing still pulling off moves that were just as athletic. And again, I was surprised at the moves they were able to get away with. Friggin' Seth Rollins does an advanced curve stomp onto a chair. I did not expect that, but damn. But there can only be one number 1. My number 1 match, my match of the year, Robert Roode versus James Storm at TNA Bound for Glory 2012 in a street fight. Oh my god, this was an awesome match. This is one of the best examples of how like build-up story can absolutely benefit a match. Just the build-up of hatred between these two over the past year, finally culminating in just violent actions that just like vicious, violent actions against the two. Pretty much the biggest form of cathartic relief of just hatred between two characters, and it's so well done. This was the match that cemented James Storm as a main event player. It's too bad that he didn't go on to win the title like I thought he should have in like 2 pay-per-views later. But damn, this match was just amazing. It was brutal. The psychology of it all worked so well. Just the way that even James Storm in the middle of his match would just yell, fuck you, before hitting... Robert Roode would say that before hitting James Storm. King Mo was kind of worthless, but who the hell cares? Shit. This is a match where it doesn't feel as spotty as it can feel. It feels like there's a purpose because of the way the storyline is built. It was awesome, to be quite honest. It was an awesome cap to their feud. And there you go. That's my top 23 matches of the year. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have your own top 10s or your matches of the year, feel free to share it in the comments below. This has been Mr. Sanders, and I'll catch you guys later.